Okay, back at Casa Rosario. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Okay, Casa Rosario Hotel. Very good hotel here in Cebu City. Very good, very pleased with them. That's why I keep coming back. Something I wanted to point out now that it's daytime and better lighting. Look at this. I have my own private fire extinguisher. I freaked out because I was like, why is this here? And there is another one outside in the hallway. So regarding fire safety, at least there's one in the hallway. I was worried this was meant to be the hallway one for the whole floor. But hey, that's nice. They take very good care of me. They gave me my own big fire extinguisher. Should you feel the need to use it. Here's my balcony. It came out really bad last night because it was so dark. But yeah, here's a little balcony. Just to show you guys the distance. It's nice. It's a nice little feature. I mean, often these hotel rooms very affordable. This one is a 999 pesos, a 999 or just shy of 1,000 peso room. These budget rooms often do not even have a window, so this one's quite nice. This is the 7-Eleven just behind, and there's actually parking, so it's actually great for guests because guests can actually bring their cars in. When friends have visited me in their cars, they can just park it here and we can shoot off, and that way it's not blocking the street. Taxis are constantly passing regularly, you know, plenty of convenience. So yeah, this trip has been really interesting, guys. I just wanted to sort of do a little recap. Basically, you know, I love adventuring and all that, and I wanted to do more, but what's been great about this trip is I've met expats and spent more time with expats in learning and investigating what it's like to actually live here. And what's great is these are people that are actually doing it. They're not just talking about it, they're actually doing it. And they're saying, you know, these are the techniques and tips that we used, you know, this is how we approach this is how we handle that. And, you know, it's just great wealth of knowledge and experience. And, you know, lovely people too, lovely expats, you know, from America mainly. And, you know, and some of them also YouTubers as well, which is great. So thank you. I just want to say thank you to, especially to Lucas Massa, Tok Cali, these are their channels, but Tok Cali, Les, great, genuine guys up in Angeles. Who else? Ray and Vicky at, I think it's Our Palawan Experience. Forgive me if I got the channel name wrong, you know, I'll annotate all this stuff. Who else? Oh yeah, of course, Says Style, Seth and Lynn from Says Style. And of course, you know, I've been hanging out with other local friends and contacts. But yeah, that's been, I guess, the great experience for me, the actual investigating the actual lifestyle here. Not just the usual tourism of, hey, let's go do this tourist activity or adventuring, which I still love, don't get me wrong. But yeah, to actually investigate the lifestyle from, you know, from grocery shopping to cooking and also street food, or like actually trying to live here. You know, even taking a look at rental accommodation and the pricing and the locations, and actually going to those locations and investigating them. Even things like, you know, as funny as it sounds, you know, guns and ammunition and how does it work and what's the cost, you know, if you're into that. But just like literally everything. Even a vehicle, what it costs to maintain a car, what it costs to maintain a motorbike. And I'm just saying that these are things that I'm thinking about, things that I'm looking at. So yeah, no, it was a very interesting experience. And for me, funny enough, I never would have expected it. So I'm so glad I went to Pampanga and Angeles City because I had no interest to go there. That long term, we're not talking about tourism, we're not talking about partying and tourism, we're talking about just long term to live. You know, yeah, it was very interesting that the Pampanga region, including Angeles City, is booming. Like it's a small city, but it's starting to grow and it's slowly growing. And it would be a great place to actually live, you know. So I would just, you know, we're not talking about the sex tourism on the red light street, walking street. I just wouldn't even go there, you know. But so that's what I mean. We're not talking about tourism. We're talking about what it would be like to actually live, you know, as an expat. Where else? So there's some other places I might investigate in future, but that was just the interesting thing. You know, I thought maybe Cebu City would be a great place to live. But if it was just me personally, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe there's other places to investigate. And I didn't I know I'm around this Mango Street or Mango Square area. There's obviously a very big city. There's many areas. But I even went to my friend's area like this. A lot of sheet metal. Okay, I actually slept outside. Like, see that area there? I slept in an outside area like that on a mattress. Okay, I covered that in another video. Okay, just to see what it's like. What's it like to live in a local barangay with a lot of sheet metal and, you know, shanty houses, so to speak, or rundown houses. You know, no disrespect, but I actually wanted that experience. I wanted to go see what it's like to live in a place like that, and of course visit my friends who live there. So Yeah, no, it's been a really interesting, but great. Okay, guys, another travel tip I wanted to cover. If you feel comfortable to do so, and if the hotel has the facilities to do so, I would actually recommend paying for hotels with a credit card or bank card. It depends on your country. In Australia, it's very common to get a travel card. A travel card is basically a credit card or a prepaid type credit card where you use it for your travel and then you can cancel it if you lose it, or just cancel it after the trip. That way you're not using your normal everyday credit card and spreading your credit card details around the world. And that way it can help you budget. So if your budget for your trip was a certain amount of money, the credit card is only limited to that amount. Or, as I said, prepaid. You actually preload your credit card with your savings, cash, and that way it's all electronic. So if you just need to get cash out, if you just need to pay for things, you've got your travel card. But you guys get my point. Whatever plastic card you're using, I'd recommend that to use to pay for hotels. Some hotels do not have the electronic payment facilities, or some may pretend they don't have it, but it's still a very cash culture here in Philippines and Southeast Asia in general. Many countries still have a cash culture. Now, the reason why I make this point, if you're a walk-in customer or you pay cash, it is not uncommon that sometimes the staff will steal it. Okay? They'll skim the cash, they'll skim something off the top, or they'll take all of it. Especially if you're a walk-in customer, meaning you did not have a pre-booking. So they didn't know that you're coming, you walk in, you say, hey, look, I'm looking for a room for 2 nights. I'm just passing through, I'm going with the flow. Okay, even then, still, if you can, if possible for yourself and you feel comfortable, use a credit card. Right, because as a walk-in customer, you've just walked in. Remember, there was no record of your booking. You just walked in. The staff will say, sure, you'll stay your period of time, 1 night, 2 nights, whatever. They'll pocket the cash. They'll remake the room, meaning they'll make the bed. And that way they'll pretend that no one had a booking. And they'll erase the record of the booking. Okay, so it just stops. That's why I recommend it. One, it's a bit better for yourself so that someone doesn't complain later, hey, you didn't actually pay for this room because the staff took the cash. So hopefully reduces reduces the risk of you having to pay twice. And 2, hopefully it stops that sort of behavior. It helps reduce that sort of I don't know what you call it, fraud or embezzlement, but that criminal behavior of stealing cash from the hotel. And just to finish up, look, with a funny story. So this funny story here at Casa Rosario. The staff have been good, but one of the receptionists down below is a very, very serious lady. I didn't take offense, but when Seth and Lynn visited me, they did some shopping, and they bought a washing tub. It's just a large plastic tub to do your laundry. It's common to wash your laundry by hand here in Philippines. And she was like, hey, in the morning, hey, you need to settle your bill. I said, that's fine. I said, do you take credit card, blah, blah, blah? They said, yes, we have electronic facilities. I paid for it all. So she was worried maybe I wasn't going to pay for the room because I was a walk-in customer. I didn't have a booking. Okay, so that's all resolved. And then later, Seth and Lynn from Seth Style walk up with their washing tub, and they had a few other shopping items, but this big plastic tub. She says, hey, who are these people? And I said, this is my friends, my American friend, amigo. She said, okay. And then when we left, she was like, hey, what are you doing in this room together? This American guy, this Filipino girl, and you have this, what are you doing up in the room? And I think she thought they were doing their washing because I had this big washing tub. They'd come up to my room to do their laundry or their washing or something. So later on, she left and another guy came, and I said, oh, I wanted to talk to that lady and explain what happened. They were just my friends, and they put their shopping in my room so they weren't walking around with their shopping all day, and we could just spend some time together. And later on, Seth and Lynn came back, and then I said to the staff, hey, don't worry, we're not having sex. Okay, don't worry, they're just my friends. And the staff just laughed. They're like, oh, we're so sorry, sir. We're sorry that you got a little bit harassed by that other lady. But I said, look, it's okay. It's fine. But, just that cultural difference, they see certain things and assume, just because they saw the washing tub, they probably thought they were doing their washing. Oh, I'm sure that sort of thing happens. Or others assume, hey, there's a guy and a girl coming up to your room. Maybe you're having a threesome, Anyway, just another funny story. All right, thanks for watching, guys.
OD.